Good morning, students. As we were discussing in the statistics chapter dispersion, in the continuation of that, some more things we must know it, we must aware about it. As we have learned how to calculate the dispersion, that is by range method, quartile deviations, that is average, that is average method, that is the average measure of dispersion, that was mean deviation and standard deviation we studied. That is called absolute measure of dispersion. We have already discussed on the basis of distance measure of dispersion and average measure of dispersion. That is range, quartile deviations, mean deviation and standard deviation. But that expresses only the absolute measures that is presented or that expressed in the units. That measurement is made in units. So it becomes very difficult and meaningless when the comparison is made with the other sets of unit, another sets of data to calculate the dispersion, and comparison is become very meaningless. So it is necessary to express the relative measures, mean that is to make it or to give the meaning to that calculation of dispersion should be presented in the relative measures of dispersion. Two measures of dispersion we have studied. I have already explained, that is absolute measure and relative measure. That relative measure of dispersion, which is called coefficient of dispersion. The coefficient of dispersion, it is relative measures. This is taken as the ratio of absolute measure. Ratio of absolute measure of dispersion with the corresponding average. Mean what average you have calculated, from that average the absolute measures of dispersion is divided, then we will get the coefficient. And one thing remember, the coefficient or that relative measure, that should never exceed to 1, that is 1 or less than 1. So here we will learn the use of that particular relative measures in the all, either distance measure of dispersion or in average measures of dispersion. And here the solution of the problems of calculation of coefficient, that is upon you. I am not going to solve every question over here, but you understand the formulae of that one, as well as the another measure of dispersion, that is called graphical measure of dispersion, that is presented in the graph we will study today. Now see, so the coefficient, that is absolute measure of dispersion upon average, that is called relative measure. Again I am telling that absolute measure of dispersion, either range or quartile deviation or mean deviation or standard deviation, divided by average, that is called the relative measure of dispersion. Now the coefficient of range, coefficient of range, first of all you have to calculate or find the range in all series, individual series, the lowest one and greatest one, highest one, highest minus lowest data or the figure, highest minus lowest equal to range, as you know, that is range H minus L. highest figure and lowest in the individual series. That is called range. The coefficient of it, coefficient. This is called absolute measure. Suppose 1 to 10 is given. The 10 minus 1 is 9. Highest is 10, 1 is lowest. The 9 is the absolute measure of this person. Range. Absolute range. Now, coefficient of range. Absolute measure, that is H minus L, upon average, mean here H plus L. Highest figure plus lowest. That is called coefficient of range. In the individual series, in the discrete series, as well as in the continuous. In the discrete series, the size of items frequencies are given, even though we will take only the size of items. The limit of that one, lowest and highest. In the continuous series, lowest item of the lowest class interval and highest item of highest number of highest class interval. Meaning, simple meaning, the first class interval, the lower limit, and last class interval, upper limit we will take, and then we will find the range. So, same formula we will use for the coefficient H minus L upon H plus L. This is in the all series. You have to do it. The coefficient of quartile deviation. First of all, what you have to do? You have to find the quartile 1 and the quartile 3. This is the upper limit. This is the lower limit. Then you find the quartile deviation. That is upper limit minus lower limit. Q3 minus Q1 divided by 2. This is called quartile deviation. What is called? Quartile deviation. Now see, to find the coefficient of it. Coefficient of quartile deviation. That is, this is the absolute measure of dispersion of quartile deviation. That is Q3 minus Q1 upon 2. And then divided by Q3 plus Q1 upon 2. If you simplify it, you will find Q3 minus Q1 upon Q3 plus Q1. 2 and 2 is reversed. Either it can be written as Q3 minus Q1 upon 2 upon Q3 plus Q1 upon 2. Reverse it. Then this will go upon upside and this is the lower side. Now this and this will cut. You will get this figure and this figure. So this is called coefficient of quartile deviation. Q3 plus Q1. Q3 minus Q1 is divided by Q3 plus Q1. In all cases, the product will come 1 or less than 1. 1 or less than 1. Understood? This is the coefficient of quartile deviation. Now see. This was in the individual series, in the discrete series and in the continuous series. Quartile deviation, first you have to ascertain the quartile 1, quartile 3, upper limit. In the individual series, how to calculate, you have already aware about it, you learned it. In the discrete series, you learn how to calculate the quartile 3 and quartile 1. And in the continuous series, quartile 3, quartile 1, you know it, how to use the formula in that one. Lower limit of the class interval plus n by 2, n by 4 minus CF1, frequency of the quartile 1 into C, likewise quartile 3. So use the formula and find the quartile 1 and quartile 3 properly, and then after that is quartile deviation find Q3 in Q3 minus Q1 upon 2, that is called quartile deviation, and then coefficient of quartile deviation Q3 minus Q1 upon Q3 plus Q1. Now mean deviation, coefficient of mean deviation I have already told you that I am not going to solve all the questions. That is one only overview of that coefficient I am giving to you, that you know it, how to calculate all these things, mean range, quartile deviation, median, mean deviation and standard deviation. Now here you have to divide it by the averages. Absolute measures, you know it, are aware it, you practice on it. Now relative measure, we are seeing it or learning it. Now see mean deviation. That mean deviation from the mean and mean deviation from the median. This two measures of the mean deviations are there, from the average and from the median. In this case, in all series, individual, discrete and continuous series, first of all, you ascertain the mean deviation from the mean, and the mean deviation from the mean is calculated by the actual mean. First of all, you ascertain the actual mean by using the formula of calculation of averages or arithmetic mean, that is in individual series, discrete series and continuous series. Then after, from that mean you find the deviation, that is size of item minus actual mean, x minus x bar, ignoring plus and minus sign, plus positive or negative sign. Then after you will get the summation or sigma deviation from average mean or deviation from the median. In the case of median, you have to ascertain the actual median, then after find the deviation from the size of item, that is from x. If that is continuous series, then in that continuous series multiply all the deviations from x, either from the mean or from the median, and find the f dx from the mean, f dx from the median. And then after mean deviation we have to ascertain coefficient. Mean deviation is calculated. Now coefficient of mean deviation from the mean deviation from the mean deviation, it is calculated. Now see coefficient is equal to mean deviation from the mean upon x bar, and in this case mean deviation from the median, the average you have calculated, the median you have calculated, from it you ascertain the mean deviation from the mean and mean deviation from the median. You know the formula of it to ascertain the mean deviation, and then divide it from the average, that is in the mean deviation from the average mean, that is divided by x bar, mean deviation from the median, that is divided by median. So mean deviation, you know it, that is called absolute measure, and this was calculated, that is called average mean and median. Then we will find the relative measures, coefficient divided by averages. Is it clear now? Now, coefficient of standard deviation. Standard deviation. You learn it how to calculate the standard deviation. That is present in the under root, in the individual series, in the discrete series, and in the continuous series. This is also calculated by the actual average mean, actual mean. But you can use the shortcut method without ascertaining the average mean, but you can find it. The average mean, once calculated in the direct method, then find the deviation from the size of item, that is size of item minus average mean. Whatever deviation you get, that should be converted to the square, and total of that deviation x square, if that is individual series, they will put in the formula standard deviation is equal to under root sigma dx square upon n. Likewise, in the discrete series, you find the dx square in the same manner as the average is calculated in the direct method, considering the frequencies also, and then after dx square and dx square must be multiplied with the frequencies. You will get the f dx square from the actual average, and you put the formula. In the formula, it is under root summation f dx square upon summation f or n. Same in the continuous series. But if you use the shortcut method, you don't need to ascertain the actual average, but by assuming the assumed mean, you can find the deviations by taking the assumed mean, that is x minus a, then whatever dx you get, and then convert it to the square. So first dx should be multiplied with frequencies, and f dx square should also be multiplied. Dx square is also multiplied with f. Then you will get f dx and f dx square. Then put in the formula, the discrete series and continuous series both, under root summation f dx square upon summation f minus summation f dx upon n, or summation f whole square. Then break the under root, you will find the standard deviation. This is the method you have learned it. You know it. The once standard deviation is calculated, that is called absolute measure of dispersion. Now, it is now to express in the relative measures that standard deviation coefficient is coefficient of standard deviation, that is standard deviation upon x bar. This is called coefficient of standard deviation. Now you apply these formula, whatever question you solve in the dispersion, and then use this relative formula, relative measure of dispersion, you will find the coefficient. Because it is very important for the purpose of interpretation or giving the meaning to that absolute measure of dispersion. Now, in that continuation, we will learn the another measure of dispersion, that is called graphical measures of dispersion. Graphical measure of dispersion, that is presented in the graph. And that graphical presentation, that graphic method is usually or widely used measuring the inequalities of income, wages, profit, turnover, etc. Mean, what is the inequalities? If every statistical information or data is equally distributed and these are constant to one, then it will call equal distribution of the income, equal distribution of the wages. But in practice it does not. So it is presented on the graph how the income is distributed. So it is said the Lorenz curve. It is presented, this graphical presentation method is called Lorenz curve. Now see Lorenz curve. Graphical method of studying the measures of dispersion that is called Lorenz curve. Lorenz curve. Lorenz curve gives the graphical representation of the distribution of income, wages, turnover, profit, etc. So it is presented in the graph. How it is presented? See, I am taking the example of it. The percentage of households, this is given lowest 25, next 25, next 25, next 25, and this percentage of total income, it's given 10, 20, 30, 40. What is the meaning of it? Mean lowest 25%, the households are getting income. If that is less than 25%, households are getting 10% income. Next 25% are getting 20% income. Next 25% are getting 30% income. Next 25% getting 40% income. Now it is to be presented in the graph. Now what to do first of all? First of all, we find the cumulative percentage of households. Cumulative percentage of households, that is 25%, 25 plus 25, 50%, 75% and 100% families. And then cumulative percentage of total income, that is 10, 10 plus 20, 30, 30 plus 30, 60, 60 plus 40, 100. Now see, 100% households are getting 100% total income because that is cumulative. Now this households and income is presented in that curve is called Lorenz curve. Now see here, I am presenting over here the curve. OX and OY axis. OX and OY axis, where the income will be presented over in on the OY and cumulative households are presented at the OX. Households 25, 50, 75, 100. 25, 50, 75, 100. It is cumulative percentage of households, and this is cumulative percentage of total income. 25, 50, 75 and 100. 25, 50, 75 and 100. This is, now see, 25, 10. This 25 households, 10 income. Here. Put here. And then 50, 30. 50, 30. 75, 60. 75, 60. 100, 100. Now see, A, B and C. First of all, what to do? This, from this point to this point, end point, you draw a line, straight line, which make it at the 45%, 45 degree. This is called equality of income, mean which divide into two parts, straight line, and this is called, from it every dot you write a freehand curve. So this is called A point, B point and C point. This is called Lorentz curve. And variation between these two, this is called difference inequality. Inequality. So corresponding household income and corresponding total income, these are taken. This is the distribution of equality line. This is called equality line. Equality. Means everything is constant, then it will divide into equal portion. But this is not there. 25% households are getting 10% income from zero. Both are zero now this time. 10% income. This is the discrepancy or variation. Now 50%, 30 only. The deviation increased, and then after it is reducing gradually. So this is called P line. O and P line. In between O and P line, O and P straight line is the equality line, whereas this is called inequality line, and it is called Lorentz curve. It is presented. So we can get the variation between the equality and inequality, this difference of wages, profit, income, etc. Turnover, and can be presented for the improvement of the income, improvement of turnover, and it should be pushed to upside to make it equality or equality line, to bring it up to equality line. This is called Lorentz curve. Now you learn the measures of dispersion, how to calculate the relative measures, and how to present in the graphical, that is called Lorentz curve. This is enough for today. The next chapter we will start later. Have a good day. Thank you.